Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome to Ledgemere. It's 36 degrees. I told you March, in like a lamb, out like a lion, or in like a lion, out like a lamb. Sometimes it's in like a lion, out like a lion, and that seems to be what it was this month. I'm going to get 2 calves today, and I've got some boards here that I'm going to go construct a temporary stall here inside the woodshed, and I like to have them right here because the milk house is down there, and the hot water and the bottles, the milk saver, all those things. It just makes it really convenient if I only have to walk a little ways, and then I can always check on the animals every time I walk by. Jersey calves are very fragile for the first few weeks of their lives, and so it's really important to monitor them closely. I will say, when I went and got these 2x12s, the sticker shock, I just was speechless. Usually I can get these, I think the last time I bought them was probably 3 years ago, and I think I paid $12 a piece for 8-foot 2x12s, and now the cheapest you can find them is $28. That's just a lot of money, so I'm not going to hack these up. I'm going to overextend them a little bit, and then I can reuse them later. But holy cow, that's a lot of money. So we're gonna construct this. First I got to clean up a little bit because this is the woodshed, and we had 10 cord of wood in here. There's an area that I've got to clean out. I've got to get the heat lamps in, put some shavings down, and then I got to run down back and get my enclosed trailer that I haul calves in. Sometimes I've actually stuffed the calves in an old 100-pound grain bag and like put a belt around their waist and brought them home. It's a little hard because they thrash around a little bit, and you kind of need an extra person to hold them, and I don't have that luxury really, so they'll be okay in the trailer. I'll stuff some hay in there, and I've got some calf blankets to put on them. So it's about a 20-minute ride over to the dairy farm to get those jerseys. So without any more talking, let's go get this cleaned up and start building this little stall. You have to keep calves separate. You can't just take 2 little calves and put them in the same stall because they'll do gross things to each other. So they have to be separated, and then they'll be fine. As long as they can see each other and be near each other, they're happy. It's just, when you separate them, then they know there's another cow somewhere, and then they get lonely. It's a funny thing about calves is you got to kind of have 2. One doesn't work very well, and if you have 2 and then one passes away, the other one doesn't do that well either. So it's kind of a unique bond that the cows have. And cows are a herd animal. You can put cows out with sheep and goats, and they generally do pretty well, but even still they'd rather have another cow. We had some goats once, and we just had one goat, and she self-identified as a sheep for a while until we got more goats, and then all of a sudden she was too good for the sheep and went with the other goats. I just extended these over because I don't want to cut them up for no reason. I'm just using the verticals of the boards that are already here. If I was to put a level on this and level it up and down, it would look terrible. And it wouldn't match up anyway. Just a little 1-pound box of screws now is almost $10. I do like screws because, well, you can reuse them a lot easier, and it's a lot easier if you've screwed up to really kind of hard to see the lights. I was able to cover them up and you can see it. It's just the sunlight reflects off them and you know, show up very well. The last thing I have to get before we go is a couple of calf blankets. Let's see. There's one. Got one light up. I got some shavings in here. When I get back, I'm going to hang 2 lights so that it gets over into the stall a little bit better. And I'm going to put a tarp in front that'll keep the draft off them. But I have to go. They're expecting me over at the dairy, so we'll be right back. One of the first things I do with baby calves when I get them is I give them probiotics and a vitamin B complex. It's a transition because when they come from the dairy they're drinking real cow's milk. When I get them they're drinking formula. So give them every little bit of opportunity to succeed that you can. So some probiotics and then a vitamin B complex. All these tubes, they have a little measure here. Well, you know, it's marked out in grams, and so you just take this wheel and you wheel it to where it's supposed to be. So they each get 10 grams of probiotics, and then for calves they get 5 milliliters. So because it's 5 milliliters per 100 pounds, and these calves are about 70-ish, so you could actually give it just a touch less than 5. So let's do that. Let's do like 4. The final thing I'm going to do with these calves before I give them their bottles, give them some alum spray. This is better than, they used to use Blue Coat, and the problem with Blue Coat is it stains. So they don't want you to actually use this on animals that are going to be consumed anymore. The iodine is what kind of makes it blue on the Blue Coat, and probably on its head it would be fine, but this is what the veterinarians recommend now, this aloe spray, and it's about $30 for 75 grams. It's really expensive compared to what Blue Coat used to be, but it's an aerosol bandage, and so alum spray. This is vet recommended, so I just do what the vets tell me to do. I'm going to try to push him back so that you can see what I'm doing a little better, or bring him around, I should say. It's nice and toasty under this heat lamp. So I've got both of these measured where they're supposed to be, and it's fine getting in here now because they haven't soiled their bedding yet. So we're at 4 cc with the vitamin B. And it just goes on their tongue. Give them a second to eat that. Also, so this is probiotics. Now, see, calves, full-grown cows have 4 stomachs. But calves, their stomach, their digestive process isn't developed yet, so you can't give them hay, you can't really give them grain. I mean, you can give them a little bit to start getting a taste of it, but you can't wean them off until they're about, I usually go 4 months, 4 months, which is a lot because you go through a lot of milk. But if you wean them too early, and I've done this before, they don't get very, they don't look good, they don't look healthy, they got kind of a distended belly. Most of the time when I do stuff like this, I straddle them and I hold their head back and do it. I'm doing it this way to kind of make it easier for you to see what I'm doing this time. So we're going to hold him right here. Get him up against this, and we're going to hold his head and get alum spray on. Do the other side. And this just helps with the healing, keeps I've raised a lot of calves, and as is the case with most things, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. So the nominal expense for the sprays and the probiotics, vitamins, pays off in the long run. I expect before these guys are weaned, I'll have to hit them with some Chloride, which is a coccyx. You might have to get in there with them, but they got to be standing. You can't be. Yeah. So I've got one of these birds in here, right over there in the corner. Doesn't look very well. A lot of times birds will get what they call pasty bud, and if they're stressed from hot to cold or being transported or whatever, what happens is that manure gets on their vent and they basically get stopped up. It's like a plug. They can't go to the bathroom, and so they end up, it's fatal if you don't check it or take care of it. And I usually pick up a few random chicks here and there and take a look. See, it's still pretty busy, but I came in here a minute ago. It was laying on its back and it's got poop all over it, but it doesn't have pasty butt. But I usually check, like I said, I check a few here and there. I don't know. I might come out here tomorrow and that one might be gone. But I just grab a few random chicks and you just kind of check the vent and make sure that they're not pasted up. It's really important that you address that as soon as possible. If you can see these meat birds here, these Cornish rocks, so Cornish rock is like the Plymouth Rock cross with a Cornish game hen. And so the rock is what makes it the bigger, and then the Cornish game hen is what helps give it some of its size. But you can see how big this is compared to, careful with its wings, it's busy. A busy chick is a good chick. But like this one in here. So these chicks are exactly the same age. You can see this is a pullet. This one's a pullet, and this is a Cornish cross right here. See the difference? But this one's kind of small, it seems like, still for a week old. We've got some barn velders in here. There's a couple Isa Browns. They get their little feathers on. So, but a busy chicken is a good chicken. The broilers look really well. And I don't really see any instance of pasty butt going on in here. Tomorrow's Thursday, so if you remember last week we put newspaper down. What I'm going to do is leave the newspaper as a base and then put a small layer of shavings over the top of it, and that'll give them fresh bedding. But it needs to be addressed tomorrow, so we'll take care of that. But Jersey calves, they're really fragile at first, and it's like any bottle baby. Sheep are really fragile too the first few days. They haven't figured out really how to suckle yet. They don't have their mother to show them what to do. They are getting milk that's not from the farm. They're getting, a dried milk with some stuff added to it that doesn't taste exactly like they were used to, and so the whole thing is just a foreign experience for them. So you got to really pay a lot of attention to them for the first few days to make sure that everything's copacetic and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But anyway, the birds look good. The cows had a little snack, and we'll come back out later and see if we can get the rest of that bottle. They drank about a pint right now, and a couple days old. If they drink, a quart a day, that's probably about all they're going to take. And then you'll see in another week or so they'll really start taking off. But anyway, that's all I've got for today, and I do appreciate you all watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.